Backups, disaster recovery, business continuity. If you own a small business or you work in a small business, those are terms that you probably need to understand. And if you can stick around, I'll help you understand them. Huffines, and I own the Nerds to Go in McKinney and Frisco, Texas, and this is Tech for the Untechnical. There's three terms that are get bandied about: backups, business continuity, and disaster recovery. And although those terms are all related, they're all very important, and those very important concepts for us to have as small business owners or homeowners that have important data. Now, a backup, we all understand. A backup is a separate copy of your data that's kept separate from the live data, so that if you lose the source of the live data, your machine crashes, your computer crashes, or you have a fire in the business, or you have a malware attack or a ransomware attack, you have a backup of your data. And we certainly understand that that's important, because if you don't have your data, you really don't have a business. Or if you don't have your data, you don't have the pictures of the kids and all the stuff that you've kept on your computer for years and years and years. If you lose all that, then you kind of lost the point. So backups are that copy of the data, and backups are a part of the next term that we'll talk about, which is disaster recovery. Perspective, disaster recovery means restoring the IT infrastructure or architecture if there's a catastrophic event, a disaster. And that can be a ransomware attack, it could be other cyber attack, it could be a distributed denial of service attack, it could be a flood, a natural disaster, it could be a lightning strike or whatever. If you have a disaster that takes your business down, takes all the equipment down, all the IT equipment, disaster recovery is how you get back to the former operating state, or the way that you were before the disaster. Thus the name disaster recovery. You're recovering from a disaster. Now, let's talk about those two in conjunction a little bit. If you don't own the data and you don't have control of the data, you really can't do disaster recovery without a backup. But having a backup doesn't give you disaster recovery, because there's more stuff that you need to do other than just have a backup. For example, one of our clients, he had a backup, and we talked 3 or 4 times about different backup solutions, and he was happy with the one he had. The problem was, when his hard drive died on his computer unexpectedly, it took 2.5 days to download the data to get him back running. So he had a backup, but maybe his disaster recovery plan wasn't robust as it needed to be. So let's talk about the third component of that to kind of frame the first two. And the third component is business continuity. Now, business continuity is an overarching term that covers both backups and disaster recovery, because business continuity has with how you continue to run the business in the face of disasters or fires or floods, and how you're going to get all of that put back together so that your business continues to run. That's the name business continuity. It certainly involves the IT infrastructure stuff. After you have a disaster, getting the IT infrastructure back up and running, which is disaster recovery, and then installing the backups that you had, which was the backup piece. While that's all important to business continuity, there might be some other aspects to business continuity that aren't necessarily IT. Like, for example, are you going to have people working remotely? There's an IT component there. If your store burns down, can you send people home and get them working remotely and doing the things they need to do from home? That's a business continuity plan that has to do with how you're going to do disaster recovery, maybe how you're going to employ the backups. One important point here. Some of the backup utilities that are available, and we use one at Nerds to Go, are very, very good at giving you a disaster recovery component to your backup. The solution that we use, for example, not only does it back up all your data, but it gives us the ability to spin a virtual machine up in the cloud. So if your business has a hard drive outage or a fire or some other disaster, that backup program that we use, we can put a virtual machine up in the cloud, and then it becomes a business continuity play as well as a disaster recovery play, because you've got the backup. The backup allows you to spin a virtual machine up in the cloud, which gives you disaster recovery so that you can look at the things that you need to do from business continuity to get back into running your business the way you need to. Backups, disaster recovery, business continuity. If you work in a small business, you need to talk to your boss about it. If you are the boss in a small business, you need to make some plans and understand what your exposures are. If you have questions about that, give us a call at Nurse to Go and we can help. Find this useful, hit the subscribe button, mash the notification bell, share it with your friends, and we'll talk again soon.